Kathy Martin, author of the blog Skippy's Vegetable Garden, a journal of my sustainable garden. I'm here in Belmont, Massachusetts in my fall garden with my buddy Skippy and his friend, and I'm going to show you how to store dahlia tubers. Okay, so these are some tubers that we've just dug. There are a couple things that you need to pay attention to when you're storing them. There's lots of ways to store them, but they do need to be dry when you store them, and they can't freeze during the winter. Okay, so what we're going to do is to let these tubers sit in the sun for a few hours until they're nice and dry. And then I'm going to show you two different methods for storing them. One would be to wrap them in newspaper. I'm going to take one of the clumps here and wrap it in newspaper. Just mush it up around it. The point of the newspaper is to provide something to absorb any extra moisture that's in there, and also to provide some barrier against temperature changes that might happen during. That can then go on a shelf or other storage location. In terms of temperature, we do want the bulbs to be stored between 40 and 50 degrees. It's imperative that they don't freeze. If you don't have an area that is that temperature, you can consider a refrigerator that might be dedicated to tubers set for 40 degrees, or a spare room, turning the temperature down. I'm lucky to have a basement that stays at that temperature. The method that I use to store my plants, since the basement has rafters, I like to use a plastic bag. The handles can hang from the rafters. I typically just put the tubers in the plastic bag without newspaper. There's a lot of airflow since the bag is open, so that they're not going to get too wet. It's important that they stay dry. And I hang these now off of a nail in my basement for the winter. One last thing is to label the type of dahlia. I grew several this year. This one was pink and white. So I'll label pink and white dahlia. Can then add that to the bag. And it's ready for storage. So I've showed you how to store dahlia tubers. I'm Kathy Martin, author of the blog Skippy's Vegetable Garden, a journal of my sustainable garden. Enjoy your sustainable garden and grow some great healthy vegetables.